PRX.
Friends beyond the binary, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's time for the podcaster that's here to keep you company and take your mind off stuff, to be your friend in the deep, dark night. A podcaster that forgets what he's talking about, mispronounces what he forgets what he's talking about, what he doesn't know. But I know, here's the things I do know, seriously. I'm here to help keep you company in the deep, dark night because I know how it feels I have trouble, with trouble sleeping. I might not know exactly what you're going through, but I think probably one of the many, many people listening can relate to it if I can, or at least how it feels. And you deserve a good night's sleep, but you deserve a bedtime where you can get some rest. So I really hope I can help with this, with that. This show is a little bit different, so it does take a couple tries to get used to. And it doesn't work for everybody. I hope it works for you. Give it a few tries, see how it goes. That's just what most people say. It's here to be a friend in the deep, dark night to keep you company. Kind of like a boring bedtime story, but in the sense of hey, you call someone, you say, hey, just talk to me for a while and keep me company. I'm not going to listen to you. That's the essence of the show, a friend in the deep, dark night. So I'm so glad you're here. I really appreciate it. I'll just give you the structure coming up. We've got some sponsors. That's what enables us to put the show out twice a week for over an hour for free. So that's just what makes it possible. Then there's a support for listeners and stuff around the show, communities around the show. Then there's a long meandering intro, which is separate from the support. And the long meandering intro is meant to introduce you to the podcast, but also ease you into bedtime as you get ready for bed and you start to wind down. Then there's some more support tucked in there, and then we'll cover an episode of the Great British Bake Off, Bread Week, I believe. But you don't need to have watched the show. It is so soothing. People baking bread. And I guess it's a competition, but it doesn't feel competitive. It's actually not. The people are kind of competing just to do their best. They're competing against bread in general. And so many different kinds of bread I had no idea about. So really enjoyable stuff. Perfect for a sleep podcast. So I'm glad you're here. I really appreciate this is the very beginning of the show, huh? So yeah, thanks for coming by. And here's how we're able to do it for you for free twice a week. All right, everybody, you've probably been hearing me talk about the amazing stuff we got going at sleepwithmepodcast.com/plus. All the feeds, and particularly people have been interested in the story-only feeds and then the ad-free feed, full episodes without the ads and the thank yous. But, some people just aren't, I understand, that's why we love making this ad-supported show. But if you're looking for those story-only episodes, or you say, I'd prefer ad-free experience, no supporter zone, no thank yous at the end, but I just can't financially, I'm not in a position to support the podcast. Don't worry. We got you covered. You could sign up at our referral program, sleepwithmepodcast.com/refer. You get your own special link and you share that link on social media or share it with people. And as people sign up to listen to the free podcast, you get credit and you can earn 3 months, you can earn 6 months, you can earn 12 months of ad-free episodes and story-only episodes. And this is happening every single week. Somebody is climbing up there, and I've had multiple people earn 6 months just in the past couple weeks. And what's successful is just not spamming, just sharing what you love about the podcast. You got to share a few times, how you found the podcast, what your favorite episodes are. People are making playlists on their different apps and sharing them if the app allows sharing playlists, and then sharing their link with it and saying, hey, this is the podcast that helps me fall asleep. Hey, this is my favorite episode. So yeah, if you're looking for those story-only shows, or you prefer ad-free experience, but you prefer to just do a little elbow greasing instead of paying for it, that's great. Sleepwithmepodcast.com/refer. That's REFER. Sign up and join all those people getting that sweet, sweet Sleep With Me Plus. So check it out. Thanks, everybody. All right, everybody, it is time for the Sleepy Supporter Zone, the one part of the podcast where I pop my peas, if you please. I thank the listeners who support the sponsors, who take action. That's how we're able to be here for you free twice a week, is those people. I know so many people enjoy this ad-supported linear show, and I'm so glad we get to do it for you, and it's with all these people's help. So I want to thank Stephanie, who got a Helix bed, let Helix know about it, let me know about it. Thank you, Stephanie. Stephanie took that Helix quiz at helixsleep.com/sleep. We're hoping to get Helix back as a sponsor this year, and it's because the listeners like Stephanie supporting Helix, taking that quiz. So thank you, Stephanie. If you want to be like Stephanie, test a sponsor out, check a sponsor out, let them know about it, let me know about it, especially on social media. Tag me, tag them, and I can try to thank you here on the Sleepy Supporter Zone like Stephanie. So that's the first part of the Sleepy Supporter Zone. The second part is you getting the support you need right now. If you're in need of support right now, fill out, just go to the show notes. There's links to resources, including international resources you could connect with. It's also about being a part of positive change, taking action, not just saying Black Lives Matter, not just saying stop AAPI hate, not just saying support Ukraine, but taking action, learning more. There's links to resources. We could do that in the show notes, or you could join some of the things we're doing, supporting the Midnight Mission and people experiencing homelessness in Los Angeles, supporting the Trevor Project, and supporting Hand in Hand. So wherever your heart is, wherever your heart aches, you could take action. You don't have to help us support one of those organizations, but you can, or you could go out there and support something else, just to be a part of positive change. But you can always check out the show notes for more information if you want to support one of those organizations and join us. And that's the end of the Sleepy Supporter Zone. Oh, Mystery Bard, a lot of people help out on the show. Who are they?
This posty poster son sounds like an earful. Wrote the theme song. Edits episodes. Carl W. the Legend. Also edits episodes. Ashley, Kenny, Scotty, Jennifer. Runner. Eric and the team at Astound are on the website. I am the mystery bard. I do the lullabies, yeah. I do commissions at jonathanmann.net. I'll write a song for you. Any reason at all. You can tell me the story and I'll make it personal. You see the kindness shine straight on through when the listeners form their own Facebook group. Keith, Stacy, Sarah, Julie, and Jennifer. These are your moderators. Get support dear Scooter on Patreon. Buy the merch and support the sponsors. You can find anything you want at sleepwithmepodcast.com. And we're so proud that we could dance. Rusty Biscuit, Lois, Anna like banana. Leah does the transcripts.
Thanks, Mystery Bard. Don't forget, you want ad? You say I'd prefer an ad-free experience. I prefer story-only episodes, but I want it for free. You could earn it. Sleepwithmepodcast.com/refer. You just introduce people to the free podcast, and you could earn months of ad-free episodes of Sleep With Me and story-only episodes of Sleep With Me on Sleep With Me Plus. That's sleepwithmepodcast.com/refer. What do you say we slow it down and get on with the show? Hey, are you up all night tossing, turning, mind racing, trouble getting to sleep, trouble staying asleep? Well, welcome. This is Sleep With Me, the podcast that puts you to sleep. We do it with a bedtime story. All you need to do is get in bed, turn out the lights and press play. I'll do the rest. What I'm going to attempt to do is create a safe place where you could set aside whatever's keeping you awake. It could be thoughts, it could be like things you're thinking about the past, the present, the future. I think like I was trying, well, I'll talk about it in a minute, but I sent out an email and you had the right first letter of the person's first name, but I did not have the rest of the letters correct, and I keep thinking about it. So I'll probably be thinking about it at bedtime too. So it could be thoughts, it could be feelings related to those thoughts, because I got some feelings about it. It was like autocorrect happens, man. But it could be feelings related to thoughts or feelings that are just there. It could be physical sensations, changes in time, temperature, routine. It could be something you have coming up or you're going through or you're getting over. Whatever it is, the reason I list all that stuff is because I want you to know you're not alone. Even though this is this weird digital thing, I want you to know that you're not alone in the deep, dark night. And like, I'm here to keep you company and that I can relate to whatever it is you're going through. I might not know exactly what you're dealing with, but as I said earlier, there's probably someone listening who's been through something similar and really understands how it feels. So I really want you to know that the whole part of the show is that I understand generally that it's not pleasant, not trouble getting to sleep, trouble staying asleep or getting up. But the other part of it is, that I always say multiple times a episode now, because it is so important, is you deserve a good night's sleep. You deserve a bedtime you don't have to dread, that you could look forward to or at least feel neutral about. That's true. You do deserve that. And I hope I can provide it for you. But if I can't, you could check out, like, if you already loathe me or the show, check out sleepwithmepodcast.com/no thank you. And yeah, just check that out. So that has a list of other sleep podcasts and sleepy stuff on there. But you really do deserve the rest you need so your life is more manageable and that you could be out there flourishing if you're getting the rest you need. That makes your world a better place. That means our world's a better place. So that's really why I'm here, and that I hope the show can help you. And if you're skeptical or doubtful, that totally makes sense. Like, why wouldn't you be, right? You've probably tried a ton of stuff to put you to sleep. You're probably frustrated. And maybe you were searching for this podcast, or maybe somebody told you about it. And this show is very different, but that's how most people get here. You're frustrated. You're fed up. Now you got somebody rambling and not making any sense. And this isn't a traditionally soothing show. But do give it a few tries and see how it goes, because I hope I can help you, or that you say, okay, now I'll find something else that'll, like, try out some other sleep podcasts. And what I do is I send my voice across the deep, dark night. I'm going to use lulling, soothing, creaky, dulcet tones, pointless meanders, and superfluous tangents, all to keep you company and take your mind off of stuff so that you could fall asleep. And pointless meanders and superfluous tangents, I guess, that's when I start thinking of something, and then I go and I say, oh, like, whatever it's called, miswriting this person's name. And also they were having strong feelings about the podcast that they're letting me know about. So maybe it was also that nervousness. But then I'm like thinking, this is a pointless meander, but I said, oh, they're going to think it was on purpose. But it was really, I was also thinking about an uncle who had the same name. And it's also like when people have strong feelings about the podcast, and they let me know about it, it's like, I mean, what I guess I wish I could say is, like, I'm doing the best I can, man. Like, so, but I didn't say that. I just said, hey, like, let me try to address these specific things you said. But, you know, they found that most of the strong emails I get, it's not a mind, no minds will be changed. But that's still instinctually what I wish, you know. But maybe just saying that, hey, I'm just doing the best I can here. Thanks for the feedback. Because it used to be a long time ago, I would be like, oh, okay. I try to explain, hey, this is how I feel, or this, I understand you don't like this or this, and this is why I do it. And also I put a ton of work, you know, I try to explain my side, and it just, then I'm making it more about me, which is hard not to when you say, hey, like, but anyway, that's a pointless meander. That's definitely pointless, but pointed for me. But this one, I really botched it because I was trying to go that middle way and say, hey, thanks for letting me know. Let me look into it. But I think that you could also try this. But really, the reality was, maybe you just wanted to express your frustration with me, which that doesn't even make sense. You say, oh, thanks for expressing your frustration to me. I'm glad you reached out. There's not much I can do about it. I'm just doing the best I can. If that lands for you, I don't think I should try it, though. I mean, what if I say, thanks for your feedback. I'm just doing the best I can here. Have a great day. That would be baffling, like most stuff with this podcast. But the fact that I put their name in wrong. And, you know, the other thing, the lesson I learned is, like, I was trying to do it, and then I said, well, maybe I should do this later, but I was trying to get back to the person, right? Because they wrote it when they were trying, you know, in the deep, dark night. And then I said, maybe I'll review it. And then, but usually since I wasn't trying to explain anything, I said, just send it out. But then I didn't I checked it, but I didn't check the name. So, what does this have to do with its sleep podcast? Just so you know, I can relate to overthinking, having strong feelings, physical sensations related to those strong feelings, and that I'm a human being. And it's sometimes when you're doing the best you can, there's a part of you that's like, oh boy, not going to cut it, right? Those are my brain bots. Oh boy. And usually they appear at bedtime. So those are the reasons I make the show. The way the podcast works, it's kind of different in the sense that this is a podcast you don't really listen to, but you could listen to it. And all that means is that it's kind of like some people listen to the show like it's background noise at like a low volume or a mumble. Some people listen under their pillow. Some people listen with sleep phones or headphones. Some people listen across the room. Some people pay attention, and some people are just kind of listening, but it's kind of like out of focus listening. If you're waiting for me to get into some specific method that's going to put you to sleep and be sleepy, that this is a podcast that never gets there. It's I'm mostly here to just talk to you and keep you company. So you kind of just barely listen. Nothing. You say, oh, you got feelings. This is a great practice if you want to rewind it. And I think this is a perfect legitimate way to use my feelings around the podcast. Get meta here. You could rewind and say, oh yeah, you're a human. You're doing the best you can. So it's great. Oh yeah, got person's name wrong, huh? Okay, yeah. That's the kind of, if in a normal conversation, they'd be like, don't you understand how I feel? And you'd be expected in person to say, oh, yeah. But this one, you say, yep, you feel, yes, you feel, I feel, yep, feels, yes. So that's what I mean when I kind of just barely listen. Also, this podcast does not put you to sleep. I keep you company while you fall asleep. There's no pressure to fall asleep. There's a reason the show is over an hour long, and that's because there's no pressure to fall asleep. You don't have to say, oh, it's only 20 minutes or it's only 30 minutes. No, there's plenty of time. There's plenty of other free episodes in the archives. So just kind of barely listen and no pressure to fall asleep. There's people who are listening who can't sleep or who need a break during the day. So I'm here whether you're awake or asleep, whether you're listening to me or not. I'm here to keep you company and keep talking in this generally mildly soothing way. Because my job is to be your bore friend, your bore bae, your bore sib, your bore bud, your neighbor, your bore burr. Your friend, your boyfriend. So those are not, what else? Structure of the show. Definitely throws people off. It's kind of topical tonight. So structure show serves a few different purposes, but it's flexible as you become a regular listener. So the show starts off with a greeting, friends beyond the binary, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. And then the purpose of that is so that you feel seen and welcomed in and that you could check it out and say, okay, I might check this podcast out. So that's the greeting or the teaser, we call it when we're working on the show. Then there's support for the show so it can be free and all the hard work that goes into the show so it can come out twice a week and be over an hour. And so that's and kind of the support does need to be heard. It is kind of like you can't sell advertisement to somebody and make it so that nobody hears it or whatever. So it's kind of a conundrum with the sleep podcast. But I found the way we designed the show, which I'll explain in a second, then it can be free instead of just being a subscriber service or only being 10 episodes or whatever. There's over 550 free episodes of Sleep With Me you can pick and choose from that work for you that are over an hour. So sponsors enable us to do that. Then there's an intro, which is separate from the support, which is long and meandering, lasts around 10 to 20 minutes, where I introduce the podcast unsuccessfully, but successfully in a sense. But I'm going on and on and on so that for the regular listener, like if you're new, you say, okay, I'm getting a general idea what this show is. But for the regular listener, it can be part of your bedtime routine, whether you're getting ready for bed, you're doing some sort of chill wind down activity, you're in bed getting comfortable, or you're drifting off. That's what the intro is for, is to ease you into bedtime. Not so much to put you to sleep, but because most of the stuff I've learned over the years of making this show is that for most of us, it does take some wind down time to be able to consistently get a good night's sleep. So hopefully the intro for most listeners is a part of that wind down and ease you into bedtime. There is 2% of listeners that skip the intro and start the show at 20, 25, or 30 minutes. And then there's people that pay for the podcast either to listen because they want it ad free, or they just like to listen to the stories, or they just like to listen to the intros, ironically enough. And so those are options. As you become a regular listener, you can kind of adapt how you listen to the show. But for most people, the intro is like a slow wind down, a landing strip into bedtime. Then there's support after the intro, so the show can be free twice a week over an hour. Then we'll cover Great British Bake Off. And we'll just talk about the show and sweaters and dough. And a lot of, holy cow, there's a lot of talk about time in the proving drawer in this episode. I don't think I've ever been in a house with a proving drawer. I remember when I was a bus boy, we had there was two drawers where we warmed the dinner rolls because that was part of our duty as bus boys and that's an ancient term. Even then, it was, I guess it's kind of busser. I guess a busser is a proper term. But they had, there was two drawers with rolls in them, or maybe only one, to keep the dinner rolls warm. And one of our duties was to bring the dinner rolls to the table and warm, you know. I don't know if that's like a proving drawer. I guess it would probably be a little shallow for as a bread warming drawer. That seems like it's something that like people be like, what do you like? No, cut back on that. Then warm bread, but it was nice. I bet. I never ate a dinner at that restaurant, but I had a hamburger there once. We also got free, sandwiches when we were working. As a part of our, shift, which was nice. They were good, really good sandwiches too. Okay, so so we'll talk about, holy bread drawer. So we'll talk about Great British Bake Off. Then there's some thank yous at the end. So that's kind of it. That's the structure of the show. That's why I make the show. I'm really glad you're here. I really appreciate your time and you coming by. And I really hope I can help you fall asleep. Thanks again for coming by. I really earn and I strive, like I said. And here's a couple ways we're able to do it for you for free twice a week. All right, everybody, it is time to talk about tonight's sponsor, ZocDoc. We all know life is full of compromises, whether you say tomato and I say tomato, whether that's where you live, apartment or a house, what you do for a vacation. Oh, I want to go on a trip here. Well, I'd rather do a staycation. We're always working out compromises. But when it comes to your health, there is no compromise. So you don't want to go back to a doctor who's looking at their phone, scrolling through headlines, just because they're the only one around that took your insurance that you could find, or the only one with an open appointment. You don't want to compromise on things like that. You want to feel heard. You want to feel understood. So why don't you check out ZocDoc? It's a place where you can find and book doctors who will make you feel comfortable, listen to you, and prioritize your health. You can search by location, availability, and insurance. ZocDoc is a free app and website where you can search and compare highly rated in-network doctors near you and instantly book appointments with them online. It is so easy and free. You have to try the app out right now because you can just find the doc you want. You can book them immediately. All the doctors have verified reviews from actual real patients, tens of thousands of top-rated, patient-reviewed, credible doctors and specialists. You can filter for ones who take your insurance, are located near you, and treat basically any condition you're looking for. And the typical wait time to see a doctor booked on ZocDoc is between 24 and 72 hours. hours. That's it. I've heard from so many listeners who are enjoying the ZocDoc app, who found doctors and specialists they've been looking for. And the next time I look for a doctor, you can guarantee I'm going to be using ZocDoc. So go to ZocDoc.com/sleep and download the ZocDoc app for free. Then find and book a top-rated doctor today. That's ZocDoc.com/sleep. ZocDoc.com/sleep. Thanks, everybody. All right, everybody, it's time to talk about tonight's sponsor, Air Doctor. You know I got an Air Doctor. It is running in the other room right now, and especially in the winter. Americans spend 90% of their time indoors. We take about 20,000 breaths a day. The indoor air we breathe is 2 to 5 times more polluted than outdoor air, and in some cases up to 100 times more polluted, according to the EPA. And, you know, that comes with a lot of consequences for your health. So what's the solution? Well, an Air Doctor's the solution. It's captured the attention of CNN, Money, ABC, and more. That's the Air Doctor air purifier. Air Doctor filters out 99.99% of dangerous contaminants so your lungs don't have to. This includes pollutants such as allergens, pollen, pet dander, dust mite, mold spores, even bacteria and viruses that make you sick. You got to get yourself an Air Doctor. Air Doctor comes with a 30-day breathe easy money-back guarantee. So if you don't love it, just send it back for a refund minus shipping. Head to airdoctorpro.com. Use the promo code SLEEP. You'll receive up to $300 off air purifiers. This is exclusive to podcast customers. You will also receive a free 3-year warranty on any unit, which is an additional $84 value. Lock in this special offer by going to airdoctorpro.com. That's airdoctorpro.com and use that promo code SLEEP. Thanks, everybody. Everybody, Scoots here. We're talking about Bread Week. Make a great bread for bed. Season or collection 7, episode 3. And it starts with Noel, who's on the phone with someone. He's wearing a shirt. What do we say? That's a red with kind of gold ribbon print, but then also, what is that? Cheetah print over the flap of the chest pockets. What do you call that? Pocket flap and the wrists. And Noel's saying, hey, I bring something unique to the show. And I tell jokes and I wear one-off fashion shirts. But then Sandy has the same. He's talking to his mom, too, by the way. Then Sandy shows up. She's wearing the same shirt as him. And so is Prue's wearing a lighter version of it and kind of a rose. And then Paul opens his jacket. He's wearing a green version. Paul's pretty pleased with himself. So it was somewhat of a surprise, I think. And he says, that's my thing, man. Like, what's up with that? What do we got? Same shirts. Then we go for the Bread Week sequence, the preview sequence. Bread's getting chunked. People are not, people are under, they're saying, oh boy, this bread, my temperature's rising with this bread is not. Overthinking it, doing bread cuts or something. Chewing the fingernails, pacing, and that's just the teaser for the episode. Then we have the opening, and after the opening, we have walking in, talking heads, bread, painting, Munch, what's your favorite food? Helena loves bread, but doesn't make it often. Michael's has bread dread. Amelia makes a great bread pun. I'm here to prove myself. And Henry's only been learning it over the past 4 days. So then the judges and Noel and Sandy come out. Sandy's got a nice sweater on with like a heartbreaker sweater. And tiny crouton. Something written on a tiny crouton. Paul's bread, Paul's a big bread man. And then they have to make a filled tear and share loaf. It could be sweet or savory. No pressure. Flavors and fillings are up to you. With 3 hours, ready, set, bake. Yeast, it's got to be yeasted too. Phil says bread, bread, bread. People are talking about breathing deeply. Tear and share is not as simple as you think, Paul says. Bruce says it's got to be big, yeasted dough and filled with something delicious. Paul says, keep it simple, good flavors, good base, and they'll do well. But if it gets more complicated, it could be a problem. Henry's working with charcoal. He doesn't want to get it on his jumper or his clothes. Then he's making a cake for his dad, Simon. Humongous homemade cakes. There's some alliteration. He also likes wielding another set of blades in a local park, rollerblades, chicken and pesto, tear and share, checkerboard, brioche bread, sesame seed, black olives. And his parents said it was all right. And he says, yeah, my mom's a harsh critic. And Paul says, I can relate. Nice to meet you, mate. Henry laughs that he got a handshake, but it wasn't related to his food. And for packing powerful flavors into the first prove, seaweed from Pembrokeshire, cheese night in Welsh, nos and cause. Cheese goes well with that. That's Michelle, highly accomplished baker, Welsh cheese and Welsh rugby, especially when their son's playing. So cheesy taste of home, tear and share, pancetta pear, black garlic, walnut truffle, and fruit compote. So doing a Welsh theme. And Sandy says, are you Welsh? Hardy har har. Michael's a little further afield. Flavors in the south of India, Kerala. And it's kind of an invented recipe. Michael also is a fitness instructor, his day job in Warwickshire. Helps him burn off those bread calories, it says. A red and white Kerala star bread. Chili, coconut chutney. Prue says, can you go easy on the chili, please? They're all laughing, and the judges are getting more chili. Chili and manchego cheese tear and share. That's Rosie, so Spanish. We see Rosie's pets since she's a vet, and that she uses equipment from work in her bakes. Spicy red chilies, Mediterranean vegetables, balsamic reduction, red onions, garlic. They say it's a brioche dough, so it looks wetter than normal. She says, don't worry, it'll be light and buttery. Tried it with other doughs, wasn't as nice. Paul says, interesting. So, oh boy, we're watching. Now we got a kneading sequence, so we're watching everybody knead. Bacon bread. Still learning everyone's names. Michael asks Noel to juggle his dough, and he says, yeah, I can. You have to juggle if you're a comedian. He laughs. Everybody laughs. 10 minutes to knead it for focaccia. That's Phil. My family heritage from Italy. Grazie, grazie. Phil eventually, his family settled in Essex, where he's lived all his life with his 2 daughters and his wife, Angela. Focaccia, tear and share, garlic, herbs, parsley, rosemary. He says, I'm a sweet guy. I do like a bit of cake. He goes, but I could guess savory stuff too. Now we got to prove the proving section. Things go in proving drawers to ferment. They explain how that works. It's got to double in size, hopefully. If it goes too much, though, it'll collapse. And now we got Amelia, Steph, Henry, all working. Pesto corner, Henry says, between him and Steph. Steph is pounding the treadmill in trainers, but also working one of 3 part-time jobs, selling trainers. Those are sneakers in the U.S. Star-shaped Parmesan, some dried tomato, star, tear and share. She says, this is going to taste better than shop-bought pesto. Then we move to a Neapolitan classic, a little bit different though. Priya, pepper, onion, almost pizza-ish. Priya loves pizza. Likes to serve extended family get-togethers that she bakes for. We see one of them. Smoked, this sounds delicious, smoky jalapeno tear and share with smoked paprika, cheese. But Prue says, how much jalapeno? She says, well, I made it for my dad, but he eats a lot, so I've cut it down. As I've moved away from my parents, I've put less spice in the food. Then Amelia's doing spice, harissa paste, chorizo, onions, peppers, and garlic, frying it up. It's got a kick, but it's tasty. And we see Yorkshire lass Amelia loves to source local produce for her bakes. Her brunch chair and chair is laden with punchy flavors. And Noel says, you worried about bread week? And she goes, yeah. And he says, yeah, Paul's thing is bread. Have you seen his chest? His torso is like a baguette. He goes, sometimes I think of him as bread. How much time we got left? Halfway through, we see everybody really working hard. Juggle proving versus baking time. But if you don't get it right, your bread will be too small. Everybody's talking to themselves, trying to stay positive. Phil's looks the right size, so the bread's coming out proving now. Double in size for Helena. Roll it in a rectangle, fill it and roll it. Michael's patting some stuff on here so his dough's not soggy. He doesn't want to be underproved, undercooked, overkneaded, wet, bad. Paul's staring at him. Henry's got his chicken stuffing. Rosie's doing the cheese, manchego cheese, caramelized peppers and onions. Phil's folding his pancetta into his, and Michelle's putting walnuts and pancetta on hers. Steph's is like a little bit of a pizza, but it's it's like Parmesan something. Maria's sealing up her tear and chair. Baklava flavor. That is, Alice. She talks about how she's a geography teacher from Essex, but her parents are dentists, so she doesn't eat much sweets. Teenage rebellion with sweet tooth would Paul approve. And honey, orange blossom, spices, and nuts. Bruce says, well, but that can be so sweet. Maybe with the bread dough, will that tune it down? Alice says, well, I do have a sweet tooth. David's making cinnamon rolls. He loves them. So do I. And he's doing it simple. He goes, but then it has to be perfect. We also see him not making inedible items he has to bake. He's a potter. He's a potter. Twisted bread rosettes, vanilla buttercream, brandy-soaked fruit. Paul's never heard of buttercream on a cinnamon roll. He laughs. But I would say I'd go for it, man. I like it. Elena is also doing a cinnamon roll. She's doing traditional American style. She goes, I love them for breakfast. Make them at night and then wake up, put them in the microwave. Delicious. She lived in Las Vegas. That's when she liked American bakes. Now she lives in Leeds with dog Cato, husband Will, daughter Flora. Cinnamon and pecan tear and share. Toasted pecans, cream cheese, very gooey. And Bruce says, am I going to need a fork and maybe even a bib? It will be messy. Alice is trying to keep hers tight because it's baklava. Elena's cutting hers, loads of cinnamon. David's working on his. So it's kind of like the sequence one. Everybody's shaping their things. Never made a tear. I don't make much stuff like this. This is like with too much, got stuff getting folded together, put together, putting in to get cooked. We do have a little hint that Amelia says mine are going to be different sizes. So impressed. This stuff has 3 different jobs. And everything goes back in the proving drawer again after it's shaped for its second rise. Then we see the outside of the tent. Noel's pretending he has bread legs with boots, real boots. Henry says my proving drawer is like a sauna. So yeast is working. 5 minutes, 10 minutes, I don't know. Timing's critical, Sandy says. Steph's chewing, maybe not chewing her nails, but, she's showing her Alice is trying to talk herself down. I totally know what I'm doing. Everybody's, so while they're waiting, there's intensity. Helena pulls hers out, then Amelia, then Phil. And people start taking theirs out. Okay, well, no one, at this point, everything's looking pretty good. Rosie's is already, Rosie's looks baked, but it isn't. Now it's out of the proving drawer. Noel's voice broke at the end. Everybody laughs at that when he says something. I'm so emotional. So everybody starts their baking process, 170 degrees, 30 minutes, a lot of 30 minutes. They say, okay, now we got to chill. Some people lay down in front of their oven. Some people sit. So it's like a little bit of a sequence where it's like watching. Should I watch it? Should I not watch it? Yeah, Michael says, I'm going to lie down or sit here and watch. Maybe I'd take a snooze. Helena says, maybe I have a nap, a siesta. Not stare at it or what? Phil's watching. Come on, balls. Cook nicely. Get outside of the tent shot. Watching everybody. And everybody's trying to be entertained or entertain themselves. Stay calm. Oh, Amelia does not like cheese, so she can smell somebody's cheese. And then Noel has a bread hat on. Same thing you tried to use earlier. They had in boots he's wearing on his head now. Helena's like, maybe I'm going to cook mine better so they're not undercooked for Paul. So that's another little teaser. And Rosie's a little worried. Michelle's aren't ready. Okay. Henry's like, how long? 5 minutes. So everybody starts getting theirs out. David's like, I think mine are done. Amelia's out. Henry's, Phil, Michael's. Michael's looks very fancy. So is Priya's. Rosie's like, mine looks a little pale. Steph's looks good. Phil's looks good. Alice looks good. Most of them look good. Henry's is like more like buns, but it looks good. Rosie's trying to flip hers. Amelia's flipping hers. And Amelia's like, okay, the bottom, Amelia and Rosie are like, the bottoms look good. Oh, maybe not. Rosie makes a face. Then they start icing. Noel says, Paul's like a ballet dancer when he's doing that baking. Light on his feet. A little distracting, like Fred Astaire. Everybody's trying to cool theirs with fanning and decorating, putting it, fancying it up, as they say. Whoa, David's buttercream, man. David, you could put buttercream on my cinnamon roll. I mean, for sure, I'd try. I mean, I'd love to try it. And then I'll have every flavor of cinnamon roll. Breakfast, things like that, coffee, cake, cinnamon rolls, that's my thing, man. One of them. Okay, everybody's, so they they're done, time's up, and we have everybody sitting at their stations, tear and share, Henry's first, judgment of Paul and Peru, and there you go, Henry's face, okay, black and white works, dramatic and nice, they cut it up, you can taste the pesto, but hard to taste anything else, Bruce says. Paul says it's a bit bland. I don't like it. I don't know how you managed to do that. Paul likes Steph's. Color's lovely. It's bone dry. I said if you would have been a few minutes earlier, you would have been laughing. Pesto's good, but it's overbaked. Rosie. Prue thinks it's heaven. I like it soft, like the flavor. Could eat a lot of it. Flavor's fantastic. Thank you. Alice. Quite attractive, Paul says. But dry, overbaked slightly. Like the flavors, delicious. Then Amelia, and they say they're irregular in size. One's massive, this one's minute, thrown together. Let's see, hearty with the chorizo. Prue, it's so spicy, she coughs. And Emily says, that wasn't my intention. She says, it's delicious, got a kick to it. Paul says, you should have chopped everything up smaller. There's too much going on. Big on flavor. Then we go to David's. Paul says, interesting texture. Prue says, that too doughy. Prue says, yeah. But cinnamon sugar's good. Dried fruit needs to be more. Bake's perfect. Then Helena. They say there's no tear in chair because it's totally frosted. And they say, well, you get messy because it is more like a cake. So actually they do have her on technicality, but it's like an American cinnamon roll, but overbaked. And she says, yeah, I was afraid it would be underbaked. And they both laugh. Then we go to Michelle's, no sun cause, bit messy, rustic, cheesy, like the texture. Then there's black garlic and, well, that one's nice too. Truffle oil, baked well, nice ideas. And then they go to Phil. This is like a focaccia tray, like homemade bread like you'd want to eat. Bruce says, flavors are beautiful, nice flavors, nice loaf that. And Bria also has 2 dipping sauces, very cheesy, loads of flavor and texture. Beautifully baked, overproofed though. Otherwise, tastes lovely. Well done. Michael's just looks so fancy. It's like the colors, very clever, very pretty. Nice bake. Looks tasty too. Bruce starts to eat like the coconut. Coconut works well. A kick from the chili's good. Love the red circle. He gets a handshake. And he's stunned. Everybody collapsed. Everybody's happy for him. And he goes, I like that. I'll tell you why. I never had anything like it. It's special. And Michael says, I got the first handshake. My mom's going to cry. Can't wait to tell her and all my friends. So he's very happy. Feels like, okay, Paul Hollywood liked my bread. That's good. I am a baker. Michelle's not looking forward to it. Neither is Michael. They're both stressed. Okay, so we go to the signet, from the signet to shrouded in gingham. Next challenge is a mystery. And in a twist, it's Paul, the bread, the king of bread or whatever, picked it. The bread king, Paul himself. So they say, you two leave. Any words of wisdom? Not as easy as you think, Paul says. So off you go. Competitive dog grooming. So they say, move along. Technical, 8 white burger baps. What is a burger bap? It's 4 veggie burgers inside 4 floury baps, 2.5 hours. On your marks, get set, bake. And everybody says, oh, dear. So a lot of people are like saying, oh, I never made baps before. Bap is like a floury bap. Guess it's like a bun. I said, Michael says, if I can't make it, I'll just buy them from now on. Then Prue and Paul talk. And this isn't easy because you have to develop the gluten. Because if you don't, it'll be cake-like. So a lot of kneading. Got to prove it for a long time, 30 minutes to 40. And burgers are only 90% of it's for the roll because this is bread week and not burger week. Instructions number 1, make a bap or something, make the dough, yeast, salt, flour, water, then vegetarian lard. And Henry's never made it before. Noel says you're more of he goes, you're not really a BAP kind of character, are you? And he says, no, what do you think I am? Whole wheat pita bread or whole meal. And then he says, Priya's a crumpet or something. I don't know. He says, oh, let's take that. No, he says, Prue's a crumpet. And he says, please take that out. He goes, this is too weird. Then step 2, knead the dough. So we get to see everybody kneading the dough, different techniques, trying to get it to right, and then prove the dough. So proving it for a half hour, all right. And then they have to make the veggie burgers. Most people have never made them. Priya has, though. Black beans roughed into a rough mash. You don't want it to be lumpy. People are making different size ones. Should they be big, like fast food, or small, right in the middle? Then they put them in the freezer. Noel does Morse code on a bowl on Sandy's head. She goes, "This is pleasurable." And so that becomes a comedy thing where they cut back to them and they're doing a game where they're tapping bowls, glass bowls on each other's heads, or Pyrex bowls. And genuinely, Sandy is laughing. So I liked that. Then they got to shape it into buns. They're doing maths to try to figure out the weight of each bun. Amelia had leftover dough, 7 grams of dough per bun. Should I put 7 grams back in? Don't want them to be too small, but that's still less than 10% sod, only less than 10%. Then you got to flatten them, quite a pert bun. Then you got to prove them again to 10 to 20 minutes. Priya can't find her proving bag. Noel goes through her purse, or a purse, a yellow purse, takes some lipstick and says, "I'm going to sell it." Hour and 10 left, so everybody's trying to balance their proving. Half hour left. Babs to prove. People are starting to check. Some have gone up more than others. Have they changed? Then you got to flour, dust with flour and bake them. Go in the oven. Henry says, "Please do good things." 12 minutes to bake, 8 minutes bake. I don't know. Let's see. How do you tell if they're done, if they're lighter color? Then they fry the burgers, cook until browned. But their cooked burger color are ready. Then everybody's checking their thing. Hey, when do I know these are done? What do they think? Like, is this the right size bun? And they come out. Everybody's like, whoa, boy. And some people's are different size than their burgers, but at this point, there's 5 minutes left. So assembly begins, or building them, cutting the rolls. They really make good burgers. All of their burgers are very, with the, like, lettuce and the tomato. Then Amelia's like, "I knew it. I was wrong. I shouldn't have said sodded at 10%. And they start putting them together. They look really good, different things. And the time is up. There's 4 empty baps and then 4 baps with veggie burgers. And this is the, one where they don't know whose is whose. So let's see if I can get the names right. Steph's first. They're all the same. Could have been wider, some height. Chewy. Bun good. Burgers, a nice blend. Quite like it. Helena. Quick look, breaking down. Not a great mix. Nice flavor. Burgers nice. Number 3, Rosie. Burgers too big for the buns, irregular. Nice flavor, though. Not very tasty, the burger. Phil, buns are too dark, tight inside. Crumbly burger. Then Alice, underproved, and burgers too big for the buns. David, nice size. Open, nice roll. Quick taste. Nice, not bad burger. Very nice. Amelia, massively underproved, quite doughy. I really like Amelia, so it's hard to like. Burgers wrong size, a lot of chili in there. Then Michelle, too chewy, well-flavored burger, nice color. David, small, Michael, sorry. Then Priya, rolled up well, 2/3 structures, not bad. Like the burger. Henry liked the look, massive though, right shape. And this is what you're looking for. Nice roll. Bun fits over burger. Hooray. All around nice. So then they rank them. Amelia, Phil, Rosie, Helena, Alice. Is that right? Yeah, Phil. too small, overcooked. Then they go to Rosie next, ninth, Helena eighth, Alice seventh, Michael sixth, Michelle fifth, Maria fourth, Steph third, and maybe needed to change the size. Then David, bit tight but good, and in first place is Henry. Very good burger bun. I think it's his first time even making them. So then they do talking heads. Henry's happy. And Amelia's like, I can't believe I made that 10% mistake. I have to do well now. Got to do something tomorrow. Tons of burgers. And then we see the outside twice. And we see to walk towards the tent, into the tent, jackets on, jackets off, bibs on. Okay, Star Baker. There's a group at the bottom. Amelia, Rosie, Alice. It's going to come down to Showstopper. 2 people going home? Maybe not. Okay, then they go back. We see Henry's breathing. Welcome back. Time for the Showstopper. Create a display of artistically scored loaves. It's themed, it could be woodland floor, oak leaves, acorns, squirrel, whatever it is. It must be 2 impressively sized loaves. It's really about the scoring decoration. Best thing since what? We don't know. On your 5 hours, I think. On your mark, set, bake. Michael's not confident. Stress will be evenly spread over 5 hours. 5 hours sounds like a lot, but got to create a bunch of loaves, knead them, prove them. And, of course, scoring of the bread. Amelia says, I don't score bread. Paul says, yeah, it's tricky. Or Prue says that. Because you got to cut it so when it rises in the oven, you want to open up, to look decorative, but not just open up. Tricky, skillful stuff. And just 2 large loaves is not going to be enough because you got to make multiple breads. So dough won't take long, but you can't keep everything. So you have to stagger everything, Amelia says, So you're proving and some in the oven. Timing. All or nothing, David says. Go big or go home. So David's doing a trio of African masks in different colors, deep sourdough flavor. And he's like, I researched how to do it quickly, more yeast, which can create tears. So not really conducive, Paul says, to doing something delicate like this. Henry's is doing a forgasse, some kind of quick bread. Distinctive decorative holes, also some hearty rye breads. A lot of rye breads. I love rye bread. Forgasse. Corn ear patterns, lightly score it. Paul says, but that's not a lot of heavy scoring. Then Alice is kneading. Get your guns pumping, Phil says, like a workout. And then Noel hits one of Michael's pieces of dough they juggled earlier. So then we have the first round of dough is getting shaped and proved. That should take an hour, number 1. Then everybody goes right back to work. Alice is going to taste like stuffing. Hers, global bread, beetroot, walnut, Union Jack, poppy seeds, coriander, rye, garlic, and rosemary. It sounds delish. And she says she loves geography. And Noel says, and everybody that loved geography. Priya's also doing tropical theme, flamingo, palm trees, tropical leaves, a hummingbird. That's a plan. A tropical ensemble, Italian seasoning, beetroot, bird boyus, or whatever you say, boyus, but no fake colors. Maybe I'll paint them, though. Priya's doing Steph's also doing muted color combo, hand-tied bouquet. beetroot, rosemary loaf, whole meat lily, turmeric, breadstick stems. Simple in the approach. It's about the scoring, Paul says. David has a banana as a snack. Then everybody's kind of talking, working. Go to Rosie's exotic bread safari. Elephant, giraffe, lion, sun-dried tomato lion. Because that's my thing, animals. Fauna from a savanna, turmeric, coriander, beetroot chili. She says, I've never been on a real safari, but I went on a local safari park. Michael's also celebrating Mediterranean, Italy, a Mediterranean campfire. So smoked garlic, Parmesan, black onion seeds, charcoal powder. Noel says, how's that handshake? Should we recreate it? Or you still got adrenaline from it? Noel's making jokes about Paul. Michael's not the only one working on something. Helena, continued commitment to all things spooky. Every day's Halloween. Every bake is Halloween. This is Halloween. So lava stone rolls, pumpkin bread, pumpkin-shaped stuff, cauldron. She also has laryngitis, so then Noel does a Geordie accent and a Scottish accent, talking about Baps. Everything's, so then the first Bruce coming out, everybody's like, okay, it's looking good. Trying to shape their doughs. And Phil's doing a winter's wreath, a victory wreath, applewood smoked cheese, parsley, sage, and thyme. And, I got to score it, got to taste good, look good, hoping to tick both boxes. Michelle's baking a whole bunch of breads, 2 loaves, a tree, a flower, a hedgehog, a snail, a butterfly, some ladybirds and some bumblebuds, all in our garden. So, it's all rye, quite dense, chewy and doughy. But I love it. I hope Paul likes it. Millie's also doing garden life on a micro level. Caterpillar. She's got drawings of its shape, a butterfly and a cocoon. Caterpillar transformation, matcha powder, beetroot powder, garlic breadsticks. She says, I don't know the science of bread, but you really don't know what's going on until it's baked. Now it's time to start scoring their first loaves, I think, before they go in the oven. People are talking about their nerves. Don't overthink it. Priya's got different drawings set out too. So Priya starts, then Alice. Everybody's hands are shaking. Henry's hands. You don't want to go too deep or too shallow. Some people have dusted their doughs. So this is I guess if you're a freehand drawer, Rosie's giraffe is like, wow, like it really talk about. Then Priya's doing designs. David's designs look good. Alice is doing earth shape or, leaves for Michelle. So everybody's digging in, working hard, scoring. Henry's questioning his move. Do me proud, little peacock. So this will be about 35 minutes, because now we're talking about the time pressure of balancing all these different times. Everybody's trying to figure out what to do next, what to do in what order. Some people have breadsticks. People are watching their oven, making sure their color, checking the scoring and the definition. Maybe too deeply. One of David and Michael's have opened up a lot. David's split a lot. Noel has a tiny egg and a giant egg. One for him, one for Sandy. 2 hours left. And the second proof ends nice and stretchy. Next bout of scoring. Millie can't find her scorer. Oh, I found it. Sandy says, I better not stick around here. Okay, so then the next round of scoring is going on. More scoring stress. People are like, at least, because you could have scored and it'll deflate, so that wouldn't be good. Dough goes in the, you got to get that dough in the oven in minutes. Earlier batches come out. They look good. Okay, does that look like the world doesn't look too bad? Okay, well, I'm happy with it. Pumpkins are green, so then one of Henry's is stuck to his sheet. David's masks are split, but they look really cool. Like if you ordered it and got it, if it wasn't a competition, he probably would win because they are very artistic. Amelia's not sure if her bread's cooked all the way. Last things go in the oven. The final batch is, Helena's doing one of hers in a cast iron pot. Great humidity, crispy crunch, crunchy crust. So about a half hour. Henry's trying to depaper his breads. And some people are painting. Michael, Priya, Michelle. Henry's like, okay, well, we got most of the paper off, but Paul's not going to like it. And back at the waiting game, watching the oven. Steph does a yoga squat, which I'm trying to do more of myself. 15 minutes left. Stuff comes out of the oven. Is this overdone? Is this done right? But everybody's trying to, get moving. And Sandy says, yours looks cool, but I guess it's not. And then same thing with one of Michael's. Is that intentional? Like a rip in time? And 5 minutes, everybody starts doing their, artistic assembly. Phil's just got to stand up like a trophy. So everybody's kind of, bakers, that's the end of your showstopper. And some people are like, David's very worried. Amelia's not sure if hers are cooked. Out of my hands, though. And we see the night sky, or evening sky, judgment time. Rosie has to go first. Bread Safari. It sounds like there's a place called Toy Safari where I live. Scoring is very good. A fantastic effect. Elephant, giraffe. I like how you've scored them in a different way. Each one, the lion, dense lines, thinner lines, clever. And they have a gray bread. They say, I've never had a gray loaf before, but could do with more salt. Don't be afraid to add more flavor, but delicious. Very artistic. Perfect scoring. Well done. Then Alice, and let's see, nice definition, nice looking loaf, clever, recognizable globe. Paul smells it, very nice nuts and seeds, lovely flavor. And they're taking a bite, but could use more seasoning, bit bland. Cuts are good, nice looking loaf. Not too bad, well done. Okay, so she brings hers back. Then we have David's, and his look cool. It's just they didn't turn out how he wanted them. Sort of broken, but brilliant. Almost artistic renderings of stuff. But that wasn't the challenge. The challenge was really good scoring. And then they go into one of his breads. Paul shakes his head. Barely done. Idea was sound enough, but disappointed. Not enough salt either. All style, no substance. David says, oh. And then Helena, every bread is Halloween. So they say, okay, this is very imaginative and wonderful, fantastic, but you lost some definition in your cuts because you baked them in a pot, huh? Yeah. Could have been in there a little longer, maybe. And test out the bread. Dense old loaf, quite heavy. Only flavors where it's caramelized, and these cuts aren't good enough. More emphasis on the cuts. Henry's up, and they're checking things out. There's paper on here. So that's not good. And this is Vegas, tough. And I've seen more decorative ones, not really conducive to heavy scoring. Then they cut his loaf, and needs more time in the oven, man. More proving, more time in the oven, but nice flavor. Flavor's good. Cuts are a bit ripped, though. It's a shame. Then Steph's up. She gives a big smile. Highly effective. Hasn't blown anywhere. Could have left it in longer. She goes, yeah, I was scared of that. But after yesterday, I was overbaked. And they start eating it. And rosemary flavoring's good. Well-baked, well-proofed. Structure's beautiful. Love cuts, love design. Excellent stuff. Thank you. Then we have Priya up. Hers has got a lot of painting on it, so it looks very beautiful. You can see the cuts, but we want more definition and less painting. More scoring, less painting. And they cut in. Great structure, actually. Take a bite. Could have been more potent with the flavors. Cuts deeper. Two nice loaves, though. Nevertheless, Phil, they got his winner's wreath. Ingenious. Scoring on laurel leaves. Edge is beautiful. Beautifully baked. And they say, wow, this thing's light, too. Baked well. You got some scoring going on, but not a huge amount. Bread's delicious. So thank you. And Michelle. And let's see, effective. Some of your scoring's really neat and beautiful. Like the color on the larger ones, but you lost some definition. Then they start cutting into stuff. Paul takes a bite. Like the flavor. Would have liked it crustier. Okay, like it the same. Hedgehog is rye. Stodgy, quite dense. Rye is always going to be, but they taste delicious. Thank you. Then Amelia and clumsy. You're scoring. No finesse. Man, that's harsh. Design's good. Baking terrible. Oh dear. Why'd you bring them out so early? They're gone soft. And only one flavor. Needs more color. So they really start asking a lot of questions. And we needed punchier flavors, but they were just criticizing her flavors earlier. Then Michael goes, and one has had a burst quite badly, blew the whole thing out. Another one looks nicer. Overall, image is amazing. Red is attractive. Painting's nice. See, they open it up. Looks good. Nice loaf. Flavor's nice. Bakes are all right. Design's good, but even though the blowout there. And we see everybody's faces, mostly frowny. David's distressed. Oh boy, Amelia's stressed. Be gutting, to leave. Brutal, David says. So, not happy campers. And say, okay, let's start with upbeat. Steph was great. This is the table talk. Michael, very good. Went well. Who's at the bottom? Henry's at the bottom. I mean, he won that technical, but Amelia's in trouble. Alice, maybe. Is it possible two people go home? Could be. So they make a sweat. Then they come out, and Noel gets to give good news this week because I guess it's week 3. Star Baker is, they wait, they pause, they show some Michael. He's surprised and very happy, and everybody's happy for him, which is so cute. Even the judges and stuff. Sandy says this gets tougher and tougher every week. And the person who's leaving us, they show David, Alice, and Amelia, switching between them. Then Sandy, Amelia says, I knew it, gutted. And she knew bread week was going to be tough and to get through it. A lot of kisses for Amelia and hugs. Michael gives her a big hug twice. Sorry to see you go. Henry says bread can take a height. Al says, I can't believe I made it. Michael says, I'm overwhelmed. I'll try making bread maybe a couple more times, but I'll never score it again. And he laughs. I say, yeah, Michael did great this week. Deserves Star Baker. He goes, so I can go home now. Handshake, and I won the week. Tick off. And that's the end of the episode. Pretty nice. Well, I don't know. I was rooting for Amelia, so I mean, it was nice for Michael, who's cool. But the bake goes on. As I don't know who's saying that, but the bake will go. The bake off will be great when it's great. Good night, everybody. All right, I want to thank everybody that's been spreading the word on Twitter. Really appreciate it. It's a huge free way to help the show is just spread the word wherever you, have interactions, whether it's online or in person. Let people know about the show. So I want to thank Jess, Faith, and Jen. Thank you. Thanks, and good night. Anne, Janine, and Raccoon. Thank you. Thanks, and good night. Kendra, Jamie, and Maria. Thank you. Thanks, and good night. How fine, Jim, and Theodore. Thank you. Thanks, and good night. Zany, Brian, and Faith. Thank you. Thanks, and good night. Sarah, Antonia, and Christina. Thank you. Thanks, and good night. Emma, Harry, and Ren. Thank you. Thanks, and good night. Robinson, Larry, and Chloe. Thank you. Thanks, and good night. And Paula, Rain, and Luke. Thank you. Thanks, and good night. Thanks, everybody, for supporting the show, spreading the word. Sleeping We exists a free podcast because of people that support the show directly or support our sponsors. And we grow as a podcast by, like I said, people just spreading the word, letting people know about the show. Couldn't do it without all of you. Really appreciate it. And here's either Scoots or Tuck You In sponsor that's helped us grow those archives over 500, I think over 550 when I'm recording this. Thanks and good night, everybody. Hey, everybody, this is Scoots. Just wanted to tuck you in. You probably heard me talking about Sleep With Me Plus. It's based on how you listen to the show and 10 years of feedback. So we have a podcast with ad-free episodes without the supporter zone, without the thank yous at the end. We have a podcast with story-only episodes, no music at all. We have another podcast, depending on the tier, that has all intro episodes and on extra long compilations of themed episodes like TNG or Great British Bake Off or some of our stories. And then we have a bonus feed full of bonus content. And you could get a 7-day free trial by signing up at sleepwithmepodcast.com/plus. And if you're not in a position financially to support the show, totally understand that. We've got our referral program. People are earning 6 months of ad-free and story-only episodes. We've had a couple people earn 3 months, and I'm sure they're working their way to 6 months. I haven't checked today. And you could sign up for that, and you just have to share your link with people. It's sleepwithmepodcast.com/refer, REFER. And you just have to refer them to the free podcast. If they subscribe to the free podcast in a free podcast app, you'll get credit. And yeah, as you bring people in, 3 people, get you 3 months of ad-free story-only episodes, 6 people, 6 months. So get over there and sign up for one of those as I tuck you in. Thanks.